To get back at her cheating husband, she turned him and his mistress into barbecue. They grilled meat openly in their own backyard. Even though the place was already swarming with cops, she still sat there, calmly eating her meal. Once in prison, her story made her famous fast. She quickly became the boss behind bars. She ran the place like she owned it, but she never saw what was coming. A new inmate was about to turn her world upside down. Her name was Jinsey, and she had just turned 18. She hadn't killed anyone, but she walked into a police station and turned herself in. She claimed to have kidnapped and murdered a 5-year-old boy, but Detective Jack knew right away something didn't add up. Still, they couldn't catch the real killer, and the public was demanding answers. So Jack decided to lock her up anyway. Jinsey was charged with murder. In front of a sea of reporters, she quietly acted out the crime. She picked up a brown pillow, pretending to be fierce, and showed how she did it. Soon after, she was sentenced to 13 years in prison. But the so-called cold-blooded killer turned into a completely different person once inside. She kept to herself in the corners of the prison, until one night, she dreamed of standing on a cliff with a creature that had a human head and a dog's body. After that, everything about her changed. Back when Jinsey turned 18, she got pregnant by accident and was dumped by her boyfriend. Desperate, she went to her teacher for help. She had no idea she was walking into a nightmare. The man looked kind and gentle, but behind the scenes, he was a monster. He couldn't have kids, so he hated children, and he developed a sick habit. Every month, he kidnapped a rich family's child. Then he'd blackmail the parents for ransom. When the cops started closing in, he used Jinsey's newborn daughter as leverage. He forced her to take the fall for him. To protect her baby, Jinsey agreed. After that, she changed. She helped the older inmates take walks, cleaned up after them without complaint, and even gave up a kidney for a dying prisoner. When the prison boss slipped and fell, Jinsey rushed over to help her up and even fed her by hand. But strangely, the boss's health kept getting worse under Jinsey's care. No one realized. It was all an act. Finally, the day came for Jinsey to be released. A pastor handed her a block of white tofu, a symbol of starting fresh. But Jinsey slapped it to the ground. In front of everyone's shocked faces, the girl who had stayed silent for 13 years finally dropped the mask and set out for revenge.